In the headlines, residents of Jabi Masallaci lament demolition of a palace. NEMA rescues 12 people, recovers 17 more dead bodies from Taraba boat accident. House of Representatives summon Humanitarian Affairs Minister for details of 1.1 trillion naira conditional cash transfer scheme. On the foreign scene, King Charles III begins Kenya visit amid calls for an apology over colonial-era suffering. Hello there, welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Abuja as the ongoing FCT master plan restoration work on the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, has hit Jabi district with the demolition of a traditional palace. The demolition team began work on Tuesday morning as residents watch in dismay, registering their disapproval of the demolition exercise. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal witnessed the demolition and sent in this report.
What goes around comes around. That is the feeling in Jabi area as the Federal Capital Territory Administration takes its bulldozers to the palace of 97-years-old Dekachi Yakubu Auta. What was once a structure representing traditional authority has been turned into rubbles. Dekachi Yakubu expressed his dissatisfaction with the development while emphasizing his contribution as community leader to the development of the Federal Capital Territory over the years.
I was in the
inner room and heard a sound, and also people shouting. Before I knew anything, I saw bulldozers and fully armed men. We are not at loggerhead with the government, but we are appealing to the government to come to our rescue. Also speaking, the son of the chief, Yakubu Abubakar, lamented the neglect of traditional history by the government, noting that the palace existed long before Abuja became the Federal Capital Territory.
They started by demolishing our palace without speaking anything. The palace chairs, files, in the community, normally we have files where we treat cases of conflict and also some people's agreement just normal way of life. We have files where we keep record.
Residents also expressed dismay at the presence of heavily armed security personnel in the area ahead of the demolition exercise. We are peace-loving people who have been living in peace with one another, irrespective of religion or tribe. We are calling on the government to do the needful, adding that before now, the palace has been used to resolve different cases, which has gone a long way to make the community a better place. The importance of palace cannot be overemphasized. If the palace is being demolished, it will be as if we are not existing. The government should do the needful to make Jabi a better place. Some shops in the area earmarked for demolition were also taken down as business owners count their losses.
I'm managing my life with a shop and they came without notice to demolish us. My freezers, everything was gone. It is done, it's never done in that way.
The demolition of the palace really pains us a lot because we are they didn't give us any notice the day they are coming.
The Nyesom Wike-led FCT is doubling down on its promise to restore the Abuja master at all costs, with more demolition expected in a few days. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In other news, the National Emergency Management Agency has confirmed the rescue of 12 persons and the recovery of 17 more dead bodies in Taraba after a boat capsized carrying 104 passengers. The boat capsized on Saturday, carrying mostly local traders, including women and children returning from a local fish market in Ar-Ukola local government area of the state. The Director of Emergency Services at NEMA, Bashir Garga, says rescue operations are still underway. The acting chairman of Inland Water Transporters in Taraba, Jidda Mayo Raneyo, says 6 victims have been buried on Monday in the area after the families granted the agency permission to do so. Now, Governor Simi Fubara of Rivers State and Nyesom Wike, his predecessor, are in a meeting at the presidential villa in Abuja after days of political unrest in Rivers State over plans to impeach the governor. The duo, who reportedly fell out just 6 months after succession, have been in the news since the reported move of the Rivers State House of Assembly to impeach the governor. Fubara had stormed the assembly while some lawmakers loyal to Nyesom Wike were said to be planning his removal from office. Addressing youths who trooped to the government house in Port Harcourt over the development, Fubara vowed to resist any impeachment attempt against him that is not justified. Now let's talk to State House correspondent Kehinde Amadou for some update on that closed-door meeting between Nyesom Wike and Governor Fubara of Rivers State. Mr. Kehinde, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. What do we know about the outcome of that meeting? Is it still on the way or has it been concluded?
Well, the meeting has been concluded. It's not just a closed-door meeting between the FCT minister and the governor of Rivers State, but it was a closed-door meeting with governors. And the president intervened in the situation between the two gentlemen. Bauchi State Governor, who briefed his men at State House after the meeting. You know, there was also a meeting of the National Police Council, which confirmed Karabe Egbetokun as Inspector General of Police.
Right.
So the Bauchi State Governor, who intimated us about what went on in that meeting, said that the president had intervened and then that peace had returned between the two gentlemen, and went ahead to commend the president for showing leadership, and also commended the president, also vowed that PDP governors would work closely with the president.
Right. So as far as we know, based on that interaction between Governor Bala Mohammed on this particular matter, peace has been restored, politically speaking, between Nyesom Wike and Governor Fubara of Rivers State. Is that the understanding here?
The understanding is that an understanding has been reached between the two gentlemen,
right,
because the president had intervened in the matter. Of course, we have to watch to see what will happen in the days ahead, whether true peace would have returned or whether there would still be a jostling for power between the two gentlemen.
Right. Okay. I know we're going to have a lot more extensive information about that in the couple of hours to come. Kehinde Amadou, thank you very much for the update. Right, let's move on to some of the day's other news stories now. Grain marketers in Bauchi State have denied claims that links them to the soaring prices of food items across the state. The marketers say the federal government needs to improve collaboration with local stakeholders to ensure food security in Nigeria. Trust TV's Adamu Imam visited the market in Bauchi and filed in this report.
The room market is located at Ganjua local government area. The popular grain market serves different communities as well as visitors on weekly basis. With emphasis on food crisis, especially assorted grains, traders have expressed concern over instability in grain prices. Honestly, the price is higher. The situation in the market is not encouraging. We sold sack of millet for 40,000 naira. Beans per measure is 800 naira and above or we reduce 20 naira for customers only. Before, maize is 500 naira, now is 450. So the prices are coming down, and we are hoping if sorghum start coming to the market, other grains price will fall too. We don't increase price overnight. It's the situation of the market. If we get them higher, we sell higher. Less, we sell less to customers. But we hope this difficulty will soon be over. Farmers, on the other hand, explain why they usually rush to sell their grains after harvest. Both stakeholders appeal to government to help more local farmers in the country as they contribute to food security of the country. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, the traditional ruler of Garimodibo, Muhammadu, has been gunned down by suspected kidnappers on Monday night. The gunmen invaded the town located few kilometers away from Sunkani headquarters of Arakola local government area at about 11:30 p.m. and also abducted 6 other people. Daily Trust reports that the kidnappers also abducted 4 other persons, including a nursing mother in 2 other villages. The motive behind the killing of the traditional head may be connected with the late traditional ruler's backing of a vigilante group in the area to fight against kidnappers and bandits. Hunters led by the state chairman of Hunters Association, Dantala Adamu, are reportedly in pursuit of the gunmen combing the forests and mountains in a bid to rescue the abducted persons. The chairman of Arakola local government area, Dalhatu Kau, has confirmed the incident, adding that the matter has been reported to the Taraba State government. The spokesperson of the Taraba State Police Command, SP Usman Abdullahi, has also confirmed the development. To Ogun State, where the state-owned So Safe Corps on Monday admitted to killing Pastor Adeni Adisa in a shootout with suspected kidnappers on July 1st, 2023. The gunmen had reportedly stormed a Redeemed Christian Church of God at Abule Ori in Obafemi Owode local government area of the state, where they killed a pastor and abducted 7 worshippers. The commander of the Ogun State So Safe Corps, Soji Gonzalo, while confirming the incident, says his officers later rescued 7 abducted church members and neutralized 1 of the kidnappers during the operation. Adisa is pastor in charge of Latter Rain Revival Christian Church, Olaogun, Ibadan, Oyo State, was kidnapped on June 24th while returning from a visit to a friend in the Yotomi area in Owode Egba in Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State. Gonzalo cleared the air while addressing newsmen on the controversy at the Corps' head office in Abeokuta alongside the family members of the slain pastor. 2 female suspects have been arrested for allegedly selling hard drugs as beverages in Kwara State. The 2 young suspects were paraded by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Kwara State Command, of a sale and production of illegal and dangerous substances in both liquid and powdered forms hidden in sachets of Milo. Now, the commander of the NDLEA in the state, Muhammad Ibrahim, speaking during the parades at the command's base in Ilorin, the state capital, disclosed that the suspects were arrested in Ilorin and Offa. He said they specialize in packaging hard substances in portable sachets of Milo and selling it to unsuspecting young members of the public. According to Ibrahim, they were arrested with 5,069,900 kilograms of cannabis sativa. He advised parents and members of the public to be wary of consuming products at parties. He says the command will continue its fight against drug abuse across the nooks and crannies of Kwara State for the good of the public. The Ekiti State government has directed hospitals and medical facilities in the state to accept victims of gunshot injuries for treatment in their facilities without requiring a police report. The state's Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Oyebanji Filani, said this following the directive by police authorities to states nationwide to enforce the provisions of the Compulsory Treatment and Care for Victims of Gunshot Act 2017 without any hesitation. Dr. Filani disclosed that gunshot injuries were generally a medical emergency where minute counts in the fight to preserve the life of the victim. There are reports of hospitals rejecting to treat victims with gunshot wounds without a police report, which is against the extant laws. The latest case of a rejection led to the death of one Greatness Olorufemi, a victim of notorious one-chance operators in Abuja. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we take a look at Kaduna residents who are groaning over estimated billing as the metering program falls short. More on this and many other stories coming up ahead in just a moment.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify. But
there are people who say not spending money is not about you.
I'm coming. Let me finish.
But there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent development shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No, it's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its high horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for jam, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Welcome back to the news. A quick reminder of our top stories. Residents of Jabi Masalachi in the FCT lament demolition of palace. NEMA rescues 12 people, recover 17 dead bodies after Taraba boat accident. The House of Representatives has summoned the Humanitarian Affairs Minister, Betta Edu, to provide details of the process and criteria being used to select the 15 million households as beneficiaries of the federal government's 1.1 trillion naira conditional cash transfer. This follows the adoption of a motion by Representative Moruf Adebayo on Tuesday. The lawmaker says the removal of fuel subsidy has necessitated various intervention programs and policies to alleviate economic hardship for families and small businesses. Representative Adebayo, however, expressed concerns about the transparency and effectiveness of previous palliative programs for vulnerable Nigerians. The lawmaker noted concerns about corruption and fraud in previous conditional cash transfer programs, where funds intended for vulnerable people were misappropriated by individuals. The Tinubu administration recently launched the Renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer Program to target 15 million households with 25,000 naira financial support for 3 months. Nigeria's power sector has been undergoing reforms for the past 2 decades, with privatization positioned as the solution to underdevelopment and underperformance of the industry. The gradual transition from estimated billing through the provision of prepaid meters is not moving fast enough to cover customers despite the government's national mass metering project. Some unmetered residents in Kaduna are decrying the difficulties involved in getting prepaid meters as they are forced to continue paying estimated bills. Trust TV's Bello Musa has more on the story.
Power supply is a big challenge in Nigeria for residents and businesses who remain underserved despite billions of naira spent to reposition the industry. Estimated billing, which has been the practice for decades, is still operational today as the national mass metering programs fell short of expectations, with millions of households unmetered and unhappy.
For me, personally, I think the billing was better than this prepaid. The prepaid is nice because it's efficient. Like, you can buy a card very fast. You can load from your phone, from your mobile phone. It's easy. But the rate, the tariff is very high. So
prepaid is something that if you don't have a source of income, that you at the end of the day you have a lot of electric appliances in your house. Honestly, you cannot be able to meet up.
Haruna Hanapi is a small business operator who pays for electricity using estimated billing to run his business. Haruna remains unmetered because prepaid meters are hard to come by.
Babu wanda ya taba kawo mana ita. Hasali ma mun yi nema akan ta don.
No one has ever brought the meter to us. We tried to get it, but we were told that we have to pay 40,000 naira after booking, and it will reach 3 to 4 months before we get the meter.
Su ma can in an kawo sannan su zo su sa mana.
According to some residents, prepaid meters are still being bypassed, leading to energy theft by some customers.
50% of those using prepaid, they are bypassing. 50% of those using prepaid, they are bypassing. That's why you notice that some of those residential areas now, all those new areas, settlement, you will notice that if they want to build their meter, they will put it inside their room. Because they know in the afternoon, when the neighbors will be walking around just to check whether you bypass your meter, they cannot be able to check in.
Energy thefts, either in the form of meter bypass, meter tampering, illegal connection or illegal extension of supply, is one of the greatest threats to energy accountability and revenue assurance. And the company is seriously bleeding as a result of these activities.
According to reports, illegal connections have led shortfall in revenue for electricity distribution companies. In 2022, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission revealed that the total billings to consumers by the distribution companies was 1.185 trillion naira. Only 841.81 billion naira was collected, leaving a total outstanding balance of 343.50 billion naira. The multifaceted challenges in the power sector continues to linger as Nigerians hope for better days ahead. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And the Central Bank of Nigeria has refuted claims suggesting the Apex Bank plans to redenominate the naira from the next year, 2024. Now, the rebuttal follows the wide circulation of messages suggesting that the CBN is set to redenominate the naira. In a statement signed by the Director of Corporate Communication at the Central Bank, Isa Abdulmumini, the Bankers Bank expressed concerns over the narrative, which is gaining traction with ongoing public debate about its projected impact. The CBN says there is currently no plan by the bank to restructure or redenominate the naira. Abdulmumini urges members of the public to ignore the news report as it is speculative and circulated to cause panic in the polity. Let's take a look at developments on the international scene now. King Charles III and Queen Camilla began a state visit to Kenya on Tuesday, facing mounting calls to make an apology over Britain's bloody colonial past. Although the 4-day trip has been billed as an opportunity to look to the future and build on the cordial modern-day ties between London and Nairobi, the legacy of decades of British colonial rule looms large. It is the 74-year-old British head of state's first visit to an African country and Commonwealth nation since ascending to the throne in September last year on the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. The British High Commission says the tour, which follows trips to Germany and France earlier this year, will spotlight the strong and dynamic partnership between the United Kingdom and Kenya. Well, that's all the news for this hour. Feel free to check in later as we bring you up to date with a lot more news stories. For now, feel free to follow us across our social media platforms to catch up with more of our contents, and you can visit trusttv.com for the latest news. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching.